Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. And today I want to talk about these little atomic clock receivers that I've collected over the years. So, yeah, I'm going to eventually get to this one here, my newest one, but I wanted to kind of tell you the story of all these other little ones. This right here, this little atomic clock receiver with the Radio Shack brand name on it. You remember Radio Shack? Yeah. I'm sure a lot of guys out there watching my videos remember going to Radio Shack for things. Well, this was actually based on a design I'd already seen earlier, just a few years earlier, from Oregon Scientific. Almost the exact same display, the buttons, everything, but the case itself was a different shape if you bought the Radio Shack version. And there was a time when Radio Shack was kind of putting these on clearance, so I bought a bunch of them. And it's got the automatic atomic time reception and sets itself to the right time. It has an alarm. It has the date on there, and then just a little map there. You choose your time zone in the continental United States, and pretty straightforward. It has an electroluminescent backlight, which this one still works pretty well. And one thing about this one, it had this cable that came off of it. Because when they first started selling these in the late 1990s, the transmitter there at WWVB in Fort Collins, the signal wasn't quite as strong. They increased the strength of the signal, in the early 2000s or so, and so you had an external antenna to help with reception. So sometimes you'd find just the right place to set this antenna. You could orient it one way or another and find out when the reception was best, and then that you'd have that. So those initial designs had this external antenna. Then eventually, by the time we got to the year 2000, somewhere in there, they were starting to make these with an internal antenna instead of the external antenna. And so that's when I picked up, this is kind of the newer iteration of that one, basically the same display, different buttons, and it looks really cute. And this one has a little projector there that'll show you the time on the ceiling. You can plug it in to a constant power supply, so it'll stay on all the time. And so that was kind of neat, and this translucent thing. Another thing I liked about this one changed to AA batteries. The older one had a AAA batteries, and I just kind of like AA batteries in general anyway. And in this kind of configuration, they last longer. Later on, I got this kind of the newest iteration of the same thing from Oregon Scientific. So that's how I kind of, made my way through all the different Oregon Scientific offerings. And again, nice, straightforward, sets itself and all that. And then this one here, little travel clock, Oregon Scientific, and this one adds the temperature. Actually, so does this one here. So they both have the temperature added to that thermometer. So I kind of like that. So very simple, straightforward. And then LaCrosse Technology got into the game as well. They have various little, alarm clocks and things, and some wall clocks and things. I like this one because it's an LCD generated analog clock. So I figured that would be nice and accurate, because there's no question of when the seconds are ticking away there. So this was kind of fun. And again, it's got a thermometer on it. Nice little travel alarm thing. This one runs on AAA batteries, but that's all right. And so I've also got a large kind of a wall clock version of this that has, again, the LCD generated analog display. So those are just kind of the fun ones I've collected over the years. Not sure on the availability of any of these anymore. You can look around and see if these two might be out there still, and you might be able to find this one still. Although lately it seems like Oregon Scientific doesn't have quite the enthusiasm they used to have as far as the atomic clock game. I'm not really sure what's happening with that company, but anyway, so in the meantime, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. This was a shower clock I got. I actually think my wife got this for me kind of as a surprise. So this is an atomic clock receiver. It will set itself to the right time. Has an alarm on it, but the buttons are all in the back there, and it's kind of crusty on the back from, just being in the shower. And so what happens with this one is you put the battery in, you got some buttons there to set it, right? And then you kind of wind this in here, and as you get that going there, you got this giant suction cup on the back. And as you tighten it up, it creates a suction, and then that holds it to the wall of your shower, right? Okay, so pretty cool idea there. Only trouble is, and maybe you could see what happened. On something like this, you run the risk of losing that suction for some reason. And again, apologies for the fact that it looks like it's kind of crusty there. It's been It's been in the shower. Some hard water stains and whatever on there. So, but what happened was the suction came undone, right, when it was supposed to be stuck to the wall, and it fell. And it fell to the floor of the shower, which is a hard surface. And so it cracked. I think this whole kind of crystal came off, and right there it was cracked. And so we kind of glued it all back together, and it worked okay. And it's water resistant enough that we could put it back in the shower. But lately, I don't know if it seems like reception has been bad, and I don't know if that's something has gone wrong with this clock, or just, reception inside a shower stall isn't going to be great anyway. But anyway, it's kind of fun. I know friends of mine, people saying, what's the deal with you putting clocks in the bathroom, putting clocks in the shower? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to have the time everywhere? Like, well, it's just kind of fun. And so, when you're in a hurry in the morning and you kind of want to know, how much time do I really have? It is kind of fun to see a clock there in the shower and kind of gauge yourself on that. So anyways, so this one, the latest I saw this on Amazon was about $25. So you can take your chances on that. I won't do a full-fledged review until I'm sure that my reception is okay on this. And again, if it falls, it will get damaged. So anyway, when I wasn't sure if this thing was going to work right or not, and this suction thing actually doesn't work anymore. So for this, because it cracked inside, I don't get suction anymore as I tighten this up. So I really can't attach this to the shower very well at the moment. I'm not sure that it'll stay. So anyway, I got looking around and I decided to get this instead. So here we are finally to the subject of today's video. This is a LaCrosse Technology model 515-1912-INT. So this is a splash-proof clock that you can put in the shower, and it also has an outdoor temperature probe, actually temperature and humidity right here. So your thermometer, hygrometer there, and this would be a nice clock to have at your desk or just about anywhere. It just happens to be splash resistant or splash proof, so you can put it in the shower if you want to. They recommend that you don't put it in a place where it's going to get water sprayed directly onto it, but if it's just in the shower, it gets a splash now and then, it'll be fine. So that's the whole idea of this. And so let me just show you on the back of it, there are a few mounting options. You've got this suction cup here, so you can kind of put that up against the wall, and it's kind of a double suction cup there, so that might help it to stay there. Or you could take that out. If you just kind of work that out there, then you can hang it on a nail, so you can put it somewhere else. Doesn't have to be in the shower. Okay, so you got those two options there. Or it looks like, if you wanted to put a piece of string between these two holes here, then you could kind of hang it over something. So you got a lot of options there. And what this thing here is, it just is protection for the batteries in there. So there's a little rubber seal, rubber-like seal right there. So you just put in two batteries, wind that up, and you're good to go. Oh, and here's another option you have as well, a little desk stand there. So you can put that, next to your bed or on your desk or whatever. So what does this thing do? Well, first of all, if you were just setting it up, first thing you want to do is put batteries into this thermometer, hygrometer, remote sensor. So this is pretty easy here. It just has two AA batteries. There's no other switches or anything in there. I mean, sometimes you see a little temperature probe like this, and it will have an option of like 3 different channels. So if you've got a receiver that can receive from 3 different, thermometers, you can set this will be channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, whichever it's going to be. But in this case, it's just there's no setting there. You just put the batteries in and let it go. And about every 30 seconds, this little red light will blink, and what that indicates is that it's sending the data to here every 30 seconds. So instead of a constant, sending out the thermometer and hygrometer information continuously, it's only every 30 seconds, and that helps to preserve some battery life. So what happens is this receiver here has to be synchronized with that 30-second pulse thing every 30 seconds. So that's why the first thing you do is put the batteries in here, then you put the batteries in here, and for the first couple minutes that this is on, this will continuously try to receive the temperature and humidity information from the transmitter. And then once it's synchronized, then this also will save its battery power by only trying to receive every 30 seconds or so. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, let me just demonstrate. So I'm going to put the batteries in there like it's never happened before, okay? And then just sit that down over there. And I think the range on these, they always kind of overestimate the range, how far this can be away from the receiver. I'm going to say 100 feet or so. The instructions actually say 100 meters. I don't know. That's with ideal conditions in the wide open, because let's face it, this thing's probably going to be outside, has to come through the walls of your house and has to make it through past all the radio reception problems you might be creating. So, I'd say 100 meters is a pretty generous estimation. So anyway, I've put those batteries in there like that and close this guy up. And so the first thing it's going to do is just turn itself on, and right there you see it's indicating that the reception is in progress. It's trying to find the data that's going to receive from this thermometer hygrometer. As you see that little animation, that is what it's trying to do. Also at this point, it's just by default, it's showing 12 o'clock midnight on whatever year that is, January 1st. So ideally, if I wait about 30 seconds after I first put the batteries in, then this will have received something from the and there you go. So all of a sudden now it's telling me temperature and humidity out there at the probe. So now at this point I could go move that thermometer just about anywhere I want to, within reason, far away from where this is. And I'll always be able to monitor what the temperature and humidity is out there. Now, up here on top, you've got a few. These are touch buttons, so not actual physical buttons, but if you touch, then things happen. And you see, as I get close to them, kind of pretending I'm touching them, you get a beep there. So what it's trying to do now, you can see this animation. Now it's going to try to receive its atomic time information to set itself to the exact correct time and date. And what I've done when I kind of push the buttons there or touch them, this has switched from showing me the outdoor temperature and humidity. Now it's showing me the indoor temperature, or, there's a little temperature probe inside this receiver, and seconds. So if I were to wait here for a couple of minutes, and if reception is ideal, this would set itself to the correct time and date and day of the week, all based on the information it's receiving from WWVB. So before I wait for that to happen, though, I'm going to press the setting button there until I'm going to hold that for a couple seconds until things start to blink. Now, that big loud beep, I can turn that to off using the plus or minus buttons there. So I say, let's leave that beep off so it doesn't make so much noise whenever I happen to touch the top of it. Press that setting button again, and this refers to atomic time reception on or off. I'm going to leave it on, of course. Daylight saving time, do I want that to automatically change? So I do want that on or off. Press that again. Here's my time zone. So here I can say, well, I'm not in the Eastern time zone. It will go at Atlantic time, Hawaii, Alaska. Let's see. Let's press that again. Come on. Pacific, or in my case, Mountain time zone. So that would be the correct setting. And now if I let it set itself to the Mountain time zone, I'll be okay. Here I could manually set the time if I want to. If I don't want to wait for the automatic reception. The date I can also change here manually. You can have the temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius. And now I'm back ready to go. So at this point, I could just leave it, and in a few hours when it thinks that it's around midnight, it would start trying to set itself again to the right time, and eventually it would end up there because I have good reception where I am. Or I could manually make it start to receive by holding those buttons up there. Also, you see there's a little timer icon there. So this is an interesting, I'm not sure how useful this would be, but if I hold down that timer icon, let's see. Now I can go plus, and I can add minutes, and I can say, well, let's have a 10-minute timer. So let's say I'm just trying to conserve water or whatever. I say, well, here I'm going to start a 10-minute timer for my shower when I hop in the shower with this thing. And there it goes. After a few seconds, it starts the countdown. The next time I go to start that timer again, I don't have to set it again. It'll just go to whatever I had it set on before. So if I said, well, I want every shower to be timed for 10 minutes, then I could just hit that timer button again. Now, when you get to the end of your countdown timer, it will beep. And rather than this annoying beep that beeps a lot, it only beeps like every 2 or 3 seconds. Looks like every 3 seconds. And it'll do that for a minute, and then it'll just stop. So it's pretty loud, so that part might be annoying, but it's kind of neat. It's a more gentle beep every couple seconds instead of some kind of continuous beeping thing. So I could just stop that by pressing these buttons. Okay. If it's unable to connect to the thermometer hygrometer because, look, I took the battery out, then it's going to show you no for outside temperature and humidity. It just says no. Now, according to the manual, if it's in this condition where they're not synchronized and it's just not picking up when that beep happens every 30 seconds, it will, after a few hours, it will take a moment to try to synchronize. It'll just kind of re-engage its continuous reception for a couple minutes and try to resynchronize all on its own. See, with some of these other clocks I've had, if it gets out of sync here, there may be a button you have to press, or you have to reset everything to make it synchronize with the temperature information again. So it's kind of nice that this one will do it automatically. Now, I tested it once and it worked. I tested it another time and it didn't automatically resynchronize. So I'm not sure what to tell you there. Also, as far as the atomic time reception, it will happen automatically every night. It says in the manual that it happens at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11 o'clock UTC. So in my case right now, if the first one's at 7 o'clock UTC, that's midnight my time. That would be 11 o'clock Pacific time. That would be 2 o'clock in the morning in the Eastern time zone, and it'll just keep trying, every night. So it's not necessarily tied into your time zone. It's just, I don't know. I think it would be better if it tried at midnight. It started trying at midnight in every time zone, but this is just a little bit different there. And again, if I want to change this display down here from indoor to outdoor, then I just tap this button up here marked minus, and that'll take me back and forth from outdoor temperature probe with humidity to back to, okay, my touch buttons are a little finicky here, it looks like. There, to hours, minutes, seconds, indoor temperature, so back and forth like that. Okay, that's how that works. All right, so anyway, as with all of my little atomic clock receivers, my clocks and watches, this one will run like a normal quartz watch for almost all the time, except it checks itself every night. But if for some reason reception doesn't work, then it just runs like a normal quartz clock with that kind of accuracy, which is usually pretty good. Oh, I pressed a button up there. Silly me. Usually pretty good. You're within just a few seconds a month with normal quartz accuracy. So there you go. I hope I gave you a good idea. If you're thinking you might want to get a splash-proof clock for your shower, or like I said, versatile for a lot of locations, just kind of depending on what you think of, is that a pretty color? Is that a pretty style? You want to put that somewhere? Doesn't have to be the shower. Okay. I bought this for about $35. I think it was on sale at Amazon, but I don't know. Prices are kind of all over the place. And as you can see, we're just after Thanksgiving. So maybe it was a special deal there. I don't know. So if you think that's something you want, I hope I gave you some good ideas there. And the fact that it also has this thermometer hygrometer remote to go with it, I think that that justifies it costing just a little bit more than your standard, shower device like that. So anyway, have fun with it. And I've got some more watches coming. I got some more clocks coming. I've got some more videos coming. So I hope you'll be back here for another episode of the Good Timekeeping Show.